hit, 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 hit. 5 hits.
Hey Sergei, thanks for joining me on the 10 before 10 show.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you very much for having me.
No problem at all. Hey, that was a great workout you gave us yesterday for the 10 before 10 slot. I had no idea pistol shooters kept in such good shape.
Yeah, look, I can't say for myself if I'm in good shape or not, but we try to be in good shape. You know, it's all about health now.
Yeah, well, you didn't seem to have many problems getting through the lunges yourself, so I'm
Yeah,
figuring you do a
the
little
wall
bit of
sit
work there.
killed me though. The wall sit did kill me.
You're a bit tight this morning.
Oh, definitely. Like I fell off my chair having lunch yesterday actually because I couldn't get up.
And how did you find it? Like, actually, taking a class, if you want to call it that.
Yeah,
The
no, I found it
process.
really cool. I was
Mm.
because I haven't done a fitness class like over the internet like ever, so that was really cool. And it was cool that it was with you guys like a company, so you guys are all coming together and stuff. I thought that was really inspiring.
Yeah, great. Good to hear. Now, let's get into the meat and potatoes, as they say. Now, your mother won a bronze medal at the Commonwealth and Olympic level.
Yeah,
She competed at a massive 4 Commonwealth Games and 6 Olympic Games. Not many people in the world that could say that, I'd say.
no, definitely.
Now, I'm guessing there can be pros and cons to being so closely aligned to such a legend in your sport.
Yeah, so I guess the pros is that when I started, they knew what they were doing, if that makes sense. So a lot of people
Sure.
that get into a sport, especially a unique sport like shooting, they can pick up bad habits, and it's so easy to pick up bad habits in shooting, with trigger work and everything like that. Where for me, it was really easy in that first year. I was able to develop my skill from like here to here like, straight away. So that was really good of them. But I guess the cons is I did have like some kind of pressure internationally as well. I would have, I started shooting in 20, I started training in 2012, but then started competing in 2013.
Sorry, how old were you when you started then in 2012?
Oh, 13, I would have been 13,
Yep.
yeah. But then in 2015, I went to my first international junior competition. And I had like so many coaches come up to me and be like, "Oh, you're Lolita's son, Sergei's son. Like, you're gonna win a gold medal like straight away. Like 3 days out of competition, just all this kind of like built up pressure." And because I was a kid, I was like a young lad. I like mentally, I wasn't really strong, if that makes sense. Like I was, just my first international competition, so I was nervous as anyway. And yeah, so there was always that expectation and pressure built up on me. So like, and then there was also, I guess, like I feel like I could never enjoy the sport for fun. Like for me, I always see it as like a sport, like a competition.
Yeah.
So I guess that like I don't really take that too much as a con, but I guess some people could.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But definitely handy having someone in your corner like your mum and your dad, because he's obviously got a history with guns as well.
yeah, he does. Yeah, so he's a qualified coach and stuff as well, but he just got into the I guess like the labor side of it for the gunsmithing. So
Yeah,
yeah, he's kind of got into that side. But yeah, he's a qualified coach, and he's been offered the national coach. I think early 2000s he was offered it, but he didn't want to take it because he doesn't like just sitting there. He likes to do stuff with his hands. That's why he makes the stocks and the grips for guns and stuff. And yeah,
sure. So what is it about pistol shooting that at the elite level that motivates you?
I guess like the determination and discipline you got to have for it. Like once you get a taste of it, no matter what sport you're in, you want to keep striving for it. Like if you go to one, World Cup, Junior World Cup, whatever international competition it is, you want more of it. Like you get addicted to it, like in any sport. So I think that's definitely what like draws me to the elite level of pistol shooting.
Yeah,
Plus, I just love the whole community and the people of it as well. Like I've got so many international friends. Um, yeah, the community in Australia for shooting is wonderful. Like I love but the nationals for Australia is one of my favorite competitions. Like if not my favorite compared to like World Cups and everything, because I just love the atmosphere of it.
getting together with that people you've met over the years.
Yeah, exactly right. Like one of my closest friends lives in Perth, and like I got like another close friend that lives in like Canberra as well. Like we're all like really good friends, and
Yeah,
we're all in different states and stuff. So yeah.
cool. Good to hear. Now, I'm assuming you've got other passions in your life. Would you care to share any of those?
Um, I probably wouldn't say as much passion as I do for shooting,
Yeah.
but now it's hard to find something because of uni and stuff. I do like pop culture in general. Like I'm like a
Hmm.
bit of a movie buff, bit of a TV show buff, and everything. Not much of a gamer, but I do have a Nintendo Switch. I play that a bit, not really much, but I definitely would like to have another passion, I
Yeah.
guess. I've been cycling and trying to keep fit lately, which is good. I'm trying to exercise at least like 4 times a week or something.
Have you been getting any tips from some of the other cyclists at the AIS, or you're not quite
No,
there
I
yet?
wish.
Yeah.
Definitely not on their level. If I ever get to their level, maybe I'll ask them for tips, but
Yeah.
yeah, definitely not on their level yet.
Okay. Well, I guess with any athlete, there are both highs and lows. What have been your lowest low so far in your career, and how did you bounce back from that one?
Um,
Or have you
some
not had any
lows.
yet?
Nah. Definitely had some lows. I guess it's always just built up pressure. So, for example, um, what was it, 2018? No, well, 20, no, it was 2019. 2019, I went to all the World Cups, went to the whole circuit, and the goal was to try win a quota place, which is a spot in the Olympics for rapid fire pistol shooting. And my first World Cup, they cancelled the quota places for our event due to political reasons. But I didn't perform the best there anyway, but it didn't really bother me that much. But the next World Cup, I performed really well, and I was 1 point out of the final. But unfortunately, yeah, because I was 1 point out of the final, I missed out on the quota spot because the people that were so it's only top six that make final, and four people that were in the final already had quota spots. So if you made the final, you automatically won one
Yeah.
because there were two quota spots available. So that was a kick in the gut for me for sure. And then the work and effort I put in for the next World Cups after that, and especially like coming to the last World Cup, which was in Brazil and Rio, end of 2019. Um, I performed really poorly compared to the other World Cups. After my first half, I was sitting maybe top 12, and it just dropped to like mid 20th out of like 80 or whatever it was. And that was pretty disappointing because I realized how much energy I actually have for the sport, if that makes sense. Like, because
Sure.
that World Cup was, I'm going to say September or November. And it made me realize how much energy I have for the year. And it's realizing that it's not a lot to be able to compete and train for the whole year was quite disappointing. Um, so I had a bit of a break after that. And then at the Oceania Championships, that's where I won the quota. Well, that's where Australia win majority of the quotas for shooting. But to have win a quota on the international circuit is another feeling. Like it's really rewarding.
Yeah.
Um, so that felt a bit like a kick in the gut for sure, especially because I was so close and I just didn't get it. Like I
Yeah.
won at Oceania and I actually performed well at Oceania and I was able to redeem myself. But yeah, unfortunately, I did want to win it internationally. That was one of my goals, and
Yeah.
I didn't achieve that goal. So with any goal, if you don't achieve it, it's pretty disappointing.
Yeah. So I guess it's to win Oceania, you just doubled down on your training and did all the right things and
Mm.
ended up taking out that competition. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly right. And like obviously, it's still amazing. And I've won 3 Oceanias in a row ever since I started. But to win it on an international circuit is once every 4 years. Obviously, it's like an Olympics.
Yeah.
Um, like it's every 4 years as well. So to win it on an international circuit also means like you can have a bigger team, like bigger shooting team as well. So you can also have like your teammates involved in it as well. You know, if the amount of quotas, because you can win, it's usually two quotas per event in shooting. So if I won one internationally, one of my friends who got second at Oceania, he would have won the quota at the Oceania, if that makes
Right.
sense, and that would have been an extra spot, you know. So
Yeah.
I was a bit disappointed in myself that I couldn't, I guess, like get my teammates a bit more involved as well. But
Sure.
I realized at the end, like it's not my place to try make the team bigger. You know, I was going to focus on
Yeah.
myself.
Of course. Yeah. So I mean that's one of your low points. What about the biggest high that you've experienced so far?
Biggest high. I'd say I won in 2018. I went to Malaysia for University World Championships. So that was like World Championships for university students.
Mm-hmm.
That was a big competition because I was not only repping Australia, but I was repping my university as well. I was on the Uni Roos team, which has been like an iconic Australian team. They've had like multiple Olympic gold medalists and like Commonwealth Games medals as well. So I won a gold medal there, which was pretty awesome. Like I qualified with my international personal best, and then the final was tough because I was sitting like fifth or something, and then I just managed to kind of claw my way up, and then it was like the odds of me winning weren't high because the way I was shooting before in the final, and then I just managed to smash out in my last bit, and the Korean guy unfortunately didn't perform at the end, and it was awesome for me. Like I won that, and that was pretty amazing. And then that same year, a couple of months later, the silver medal at the Commonwealth Games was pretty insane as well.
Yeah, that's got to be pretty wild.
Yeah. I think what I took away from that one is not the point of the silver medal, but the point is because I remember specifically in the final. So it goes based off hits, and maximum amount you can have in a series is five. And there was one series I had which was only one hit. It was terrible, and it dropped me down to like fourth or fifth, or maybe even last at the time. But I managed to claw my way up, up, up until I got the second spot. So I think that's what I take away from that as like a pro is I managed to keep pushing and to keep going with it. Not the
Yeah,
fact that I got a silver medal from it, but the fact that I kept going and going.
you didn't give up.
Yeah, exactly right. And I look, I can always say like if I did a little bit of this, a little bit of that, I would have got a gold. But like I'm happy with in the end, like you perform how you perform on the day, like you perform how you want to perform. So
Exactly. And I'm sure there's probably some of the other guys that were in that competition that were thinking the same thing afterwards, if only I'd done this or, so everyone
yeah,
goes through it, I
exactly
suppose.
right. So yeah, that was definitely a pro for sure, just from the lessons I learned from it as well.
Sure. Now, let's switch focus a bit over to a very current issue. Can you describe your thoughts when you first heard about COVID-19 and what month was this?
Um, when I first heard about it, it was actually Australia Day weekend in Feb. I was driving to Phillip Island to hang out with some friends, like listening to Triple J Hottest 100 actually.
Yeah,
And then I remember they had a couple callers from one of the boats in China or something, or like they were in China in Wuhan. And I was like, oh wow, it's getting pretty serious. But I personally couldn't imagine it getting to this kind of level, and I don't think anyone could have, to be honest. This was
yeah, definitely.
this is huge. And a couple months later, not a couple months, couple of weeks actually, like you just hear talks of Olympics getting cancelled and then all that stuff. And at the time, no sports were cancelled, but they're already talking about Olympics getting cancelled. Like, it was still like entering the first round of footy, and then it was just like this, and I was like, nah, like it'll be okay. Like, we had the Zika virus before Rio. There were construction difficulties before London. There was another virus before '08 Olympics, and I just kind of thought it'd be like just like rumors, and would be all good, trying to think positive about it. And then once they finally cancelled it, I was like, well, not cancelled, they pushed it forward. I was like, okay, like this is obviously pretty like serious. And then just with everything happening now, like I reflect back on how I reacted then, like it's the best thing to do. Like that way, it's just like it's a year forward. It's not like a couple months forward, couple months forward. Like they're not like taking it step by step. It's just push it one whole year and prepare for then, which is I think the best thing to do.
Yeah,
Because a lot of sports are like just postponing, and then canceling. It's
yeah,
either you bite the bullet and you cancel it, or just postpone it for a long amount of time and just focus on what's happening now.
sure.
Mm.
So, I'm just wondering, like, what are some of the biggest hurdles you've had to overcome during this time? Like, since they announced that it's been postponed for a year, because I'm guessing there's probably been a few.
Yeah, definitely. Well, obviously, uni's changed now. My whole, I guess, life plan switched. So my plan was for this year, no uni to Olympics. I was gonna go, like, yeah, I was just gonna focus on shooting, um, compete internationally, a couple of international camps, a couple of local camps, just get really in that big regime of training. go to the Olympics, obviously perform the best I can. I was going to do potentially a bit of travel afterwards, relax a bit, and then I planned out my uni to the end of this year. And I would have had like a month off after Olympics, so it would have been, really good timing as well.
Sounds like a pretty good year.
Yeah, exactly. It would have been a great year. I was going to finish off those 3 units and then hopefully get into working full time straight away next year, and then prepare for the next Olympics with full time work, and to be able to have that for 4 years, to have that adjustment. Where now, Olympics postponed, I can't just not finish my degree and wait another year, because I was supposed to finish last year, but with all my shooting and stuff, I deferred half a year. I went part time for a bit, and it's clearly flipped my life around. So now I was just trying to finish off uni and try to be consistent with training, if that makes sense. Yeah.
No, that makes perfect sense. And we're obviously sitting doing this interview today on Zoom. Like, how has technology impacted your life in the last few weeks? Are you are you using other platforms other than Zoom, like for training or?
Yeah. So the way training is working is I'm using like a band. So instead of lifting a gun up inside the house, because you're not allowed to, I'm lifting like a band up like that, like just kind of like building more strength. And then talk to my coach like every second day or whatever it is, have him on like a tripod behind me, and then with the band, and I'll do the motion. So I actually built this little, I guess you can call it like a prop gun. It's weighted like a real gun, and it has a trigger system like a real gun, but it's just like a spring. So there's no actual, it's just a piece of wood with an old grip that I had.
Yeah.
So I have that, and I just put on a little sight at the front of it and a sight at the back of it, just screw them on. And then just kind of been training with my motions, trying to get the rhythm.
Okay.
Yeah, so obviously it's not the same as shooting, but it's like the same as kicking a footy without actually doing the final kick. It's just doing that over and over. You
muscle memory.
Yeah, exactly. You're trying to get the muscle memory, trying to keep up the consistency and the strength in your body. And I'll have the coach behind me on Skype or on Zoom, like on a tripod, with my phone connected. Like, it's the best we can do, but yeah, it is what it is. But now the ranges are open, restrictions have eased a bit, and I'm going tomorrow to the range to train, so it'll be good.
Is that your first day back?
Yeah, first day back after a while. Like, when was it? I don't remember, to be honest. I'm gonna say like January, from May, I guess. No, not May. I guess
Mid-March or something.
January, February, March. Yeah, I'd say March.
Yeah. Full on. Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about it, and I guess it's not like footy. It's not like a contact sport. So I mean, with shooting, I mean, you do have distance around you, don't you? So you would hope that it'd be one of the first ones to open up.
Yeah, exactly. But because it was classified as an indoor sports center, you can't have the ranges open without like the gymnastics areas open.
Right.
You know what I mean? You got to keep it fair. So if it's classified as indoor sports, it's indoor sports. But no, it's good that it's open. But we still have some restrictions on them as well. So my club have come up with a booking system. Only one person per range. You have to wipe everything down afterwards. Like, we're trying to keep it as clean and as safe as possible, which is good.
Sure. Any other uses of technology while you've been at home? Not counting the TV.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the TV. I've been using my laptop and stuff obviously more. To be honest, I'm getting a bit sick of it. Like, I'm not a fan of, like, I've had days. So yesterday, for example, the last 2 days I've had because I had my exam yesterday, and last 2 days I've just been staring at a screen, reading lecture notes, and then having my class for 3 hours. And it's just been draining, like, mentally. I'm not really a huge fan of that. I'd like that's why I prefer to go in class, because you're with people, you're looking at someone. Like, does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I'm thinking there, in a way, I think maybe you're actually one of the lucky ones, because a lot of other people, I suppose, in your position, who were maybe going to the Olympics or were about to do the trials, they're kind of like completely on hold, where you've actually been able to take another part of your life i.e. your study,
Yeah.
and still move that forward. So it's,
Yeah, exactly
you
right.
know,
Yeah, I'm definitely obviously trying to make the best of what we can.
yeah,
Yeah, it's obviously no one's first choice, obviously. But it's the best of what we can,
yeah,
and
for sure.
try and do it. Yeah.
Now, what does the light at the end of the tunnel look like for you and for the sport of shooting? Like, you know, how quickly could the first competition be on the horizon, whether that's domestic or international, or is that still a long way off?
I'd say for the safety of others, probably a long way off.
Right.
You know, you can't, as soon as restrictions ease, you can't just go 0 to 100, in my opinion. For example, our nationals this year were cancelled, which is really unfortunate. Because they were domestic, they were in Brisbane, so you'd have people from Perth, people from Adelaide, people from Melbourne, Canberra, whatever it was, flying in, and yeah, I'd say competition-wise, probably not any for this year.
Right.
But for example, we've been trying to hold competitions once a week over Zoom and stuff with like shooting technology that you can use at home.
Okay.
Obviously, it's not the same environment, but you know, we try to do that, try to do something, and try to have like virtual competitions with like friends. So if I go to the range, and then I have a couple of friends that from WA or from Canberra go at the same time, like we can kind of shoot at the same time, but just like tell each other over the phone what our scores are.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, proper competition with like a name behind it, medals and stuff. It's going to be probably till next year, in my opinion. I'll be surprised if any are open up this year.
Yeah, right. Just on that note, on the virtual competition, I was chatting to Lauren Kitchen, who's an AIS cyclist, and she
Yep.
races for one of the French teams, road
Yep.
racing. And a couple of weeks ago, they were actually doing a virtual road race, and it was, you know, international. But she just took the back wheel off her bike in the house, and it was being broadcast on Eurosport or one of those satellite channels
Wow.
over. Yeah, so even their virtual racing is a big deal over there, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
So now, obviously, the world could have done without this whole situation, but have you been able to find any positives from what's taken place the last few weeks?
Um, I've been getting more into fitness. Um, yeah, definitely more into fitness. I've been trying to. It's one of those things like just get outside more, but it's funny, like you're not allowed to go outside, but everyone tries to get out more. Like people
Yeah,
going out for walks and stuff more, which is really good. I think that's what I'm seeing as a positive. A lot more people are actually going outside and walking their dogs or walking with their kids and stuff. You know, I think that's been really cool to see. Because like you never used to see it like that. Like
yeah,
people would walk their dogs, but it was always like, oh, like I can't be stuffed. You know. But now a lot of people are walking out, which is cool. Um, yeah, to be honest, I think people coming closer as well, which has been a really big thing. People realize like everyone's in the same boat. You know, there are some people that don't realize that, and they're the 1% that are dragging the population behind a bit, unfortunately. But there's a 99% of Australia that realize that we're all in the same boat, we're all in the same team. So we have to sacrifice, or we have to do things that we don't like to better the nation, you know,
yeah.
and like it's been good to see that and for people to understand that.
Sure. Now, we're getting to the towards the end of our little chat, but you've mentioned a couple of times before that you're at uni and you've had an exam yesterday.
Yeah.
So, from what I understand, you're in the third year of a marketing degree. You've only got a handful of subjects left. You've got to be pretty happy with that. Have you got
Yeah.
any plans with what you want to do with this qualification once you receive it?
Yeah. To be honest, no set in stone plans, but a dream of mine for me is to work for like a name. I want to work for a household name. I want to work for a company that is like, you know, well established, like people know they're really kind of respected in their field. So not
Hmm.
necessarily maybe the field of marketing, but maybe like sales or hospitality, or like not even hospitality, like maybe like human resource or something. You know, I want to work for. I can say I'll work for this people, and they're like, oh yeah, I've like heard of them. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
and I would love to work in an environment with people, just with people to talk to, socialize, like a
yeah.
nice like a nice work team, I guess, would be awesome.
Yeah, so not virtually stuck at home then.
No, definitely not. I would not be a fan of that at all.
You've had enough of that.
Yeah.
Okay. Just lastly, then, like, let's say you were chatting to a bunch of juniors who are like 13 and they're just starting off. What would be your advice to them? Moving up the ranks.
To keep it simple, because when they start, they know the basics. Stick to the basics and to be patient, because shooting is such a mentally disciplining. I don't know if that's a word or not. But mentally, like, strenuous sport. So you have to really stick to it, and you have to be patient and keep going and going and going. And then eventually time flies, and when you eventually get the results, I've been shooting for 10 years almost, and I've only just made an Olympic team and have started consistently going places where, you think you take 10 years, that's a long time. But it doesn't seem like a long time for me.
Yeah, but you're saying that, but you did have a Commonwealth silver medalist a couple of years ago. You forgot about that one.
There was that, but that feels like so long ago for me.
Yeah.
It was only 2 years ago.
Cool. Well, hey, it's been great chatting to you, Sergei. And
Thank
it's a shame, obviously, what's happened this year, but I'm sure you'll bounce back bigger and better for next year.
Yeah, exactly. That's the plan.
No worries. Well, thanks again, and all the best.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Al.
Cheers, mate.